Hey y'all! Today we're going to be using a real floor plan to build a house in Paralives. So first off, I just want to say this video is not sponsored. I genuinely love Paralives and I've just been having a lot of fun making content about it. I know some people have been asking like why I haven't been posting Sims content as much. Honestly, it's just because I really like Paralives. I love the build mode. Until you experience it yourself, especially if you've played The Sims before, it's just like such a breath of fresh air. And even though it's in early access, it's still like a stress-free experience for me because I can do whatever I want, basically. If you haven't seen my video showing how to do this, definitely go check it out. I made that video not too long ago, and since then, I have learned so much. If you didn't know, Paralives is still in early access, and it probably will be for a while. It's available to purchase on Steam, so anyone can play it, but it is in early access, which means there are going to be some bugs and some issues, and I encountered quite a few while building this, but nothing too crazy. Like, pretty much all of the issues I had, I was able to fix by just messing around with all the building tools and stuff. I'm gonna try to narrate this whole video kind of explaining what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So yeah, like I said, I'm using a floor plan and I'm using the custom rug mod on the Steam Workshop, but you don't need the mod to do this. You could also use a photo frame and put it on the ground with the advanced transform tool, but the rug mod is just way easier. And if you're wondering where I get my floor plans from, I get them from architecturaldesigns.com. I will leave a link to it in the description. I don't know if you were able to tell, but when I placed the floor plan down, I used the porch as a reference for the size. So I placed the floor plan down, I sized it up just a little bit so I could see the dimensions. The porch is 14 feet by 6 feet, so I drew a 14-foot wall, and then I used the separator tool to draw the remaining walls. The separator tool is so useful. I love it so much. So yeah, once I placed my 14 by 6 foot porch, then I sized up the floor plan to match. Even after doing that, as I continued drawing the walls to match the dimensions of the rooms, I still needed to adjust the floor plan a little bit. I've been told by some aspiring slash actual architects in my comment sections that most floor plans like these online aren't accurate. The dimensions are, but the sizing of it isn't, and apparently sometimes they do it on purpose. So yeah, that explains why it's kind of difficult to follow these floor plans. Basically, what I've found that works best is to just start by just using one of the rooms in the floor plan as a guide, and then making walls that match the dimensions, and then scaling the floor plan up. So right now I'm placing all of the interior doors, and I'm making sure to look at the doors on the floor plan because it shows where they swing open and like where the handle would be. So I tried my best to follow that. And I put this plain wallpaper down just because the default drywall was kind of hurting my eyes. It's so bright. So yeah, that's why I put the millennial gray in, but don't worry, I eventually change it and I add some color. After I got done adding the doors, I started working on the exterior. I started by adding these columns to the porch, and then I tried to find windows that looked like the ones in the picture. I really liked how these looked, but you'll see that I eventually changed it to a different type of window. And for the wallpaper, I feel like in the picture it looks like a whitish gray blue, but I also eventually changed that to be more white. So when I started looking for the bigger windows on the left and right side of the house, I realized that the ones that I chose by the front door didn't really match, and I eventually changed them just so they match better with the other ones. I changed my mind a lot, but that's part of the process. I'm trying to make the exterior look as close to the house as possible, and I realized that there's like no windows on this house. Like obviously up front we have the 4, and then there's one on each side of the house, but for the back there's absolutely no windows, which I feel like is kind of weird. Like I always make sure my builds look good from every side, so I was really tempted to add extra windows, but I decided not to. Now it's time to do the roof, and I got really lucky because this roof is very simple. It's just 2 gabled roof pieces. Now for the front facing gable, there is a roof truss, which I just found out what that meant yesterday. I had to look up like what is the design on a front facing roof called, and I found out it's called a roof truss, or in this case a gable truss. And you'll see that I ended up using this little wood piece and the advanced transform tool in order to make that roof truss. But as I was doing this, I realized that I kind of missed the tool mod by Twisted Mexi in The Sims 4, just simply because you can adjust the exact degree of the item you're turning or flipping or whatever. But in Paralives, the built-in advanced transform tool is really cool. It just doesn't have the degree system, but the walls do though. So I'm like, maybe that can come in a future update because it's really hard to just eyeball everything, and I'm pretty sure it's a little bit uneven. But after I was done with the build, I realized and I changed it. I just know it's not as accurate as I would like it to be, but it's okay. I'm really happy we have the advanced transform tool at all. It's really cool and you can do so many different things with it. And obviously I had to add some chairs right here because they are in the floor plan. I will say that this floor plan is interesting. You walk straight into the living room and the couch is facing the front door. I looked at the 3D tour they had on the website I got this from, and there was no TV Now it's time for landscaping. I was really struggling with figuring out how to get these square pavers because I'm pretty sure we don't have any in the game. I tried looking for some and I didn't see any. So I thought of using the wall tool to make a piece of floor on the ground in the shape of a square. And then I actually ended up using the separator tool because when you delete a wall, it deletes the floor too. So I used the separator tool to draw 4 walls, and I tried duplicating it, but it wouldn't let me. Like, it would just put it on top of itself instead of letting me pick it up and put it on the ground. So I just continued using the separator tool to draw these squares, and then I put flooring. After I added the last paver, I noticed it was clipping with some of the grass, so I decided to get the terrain paint tool and use some of the 3D grass to try to hide it a little bit. And then I started looking for some plants. I was kind of surprised that I was able to find some that look pretty similar to the picture. So I started by placing them on the left side of the house, and then once I got them all in the right position, then I just mirrored it on the other side, and I used a terrain paint tool to add some dirt underneath. After adding the plants, I moved back inside and I started decorating. This part was so fun for me. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together. As you can see, I'm placing the couch and I'm sizing it to be pretty much the same as the one on the floor plan. That little rectangular thing in front of the couch, I'm assuming it's supposed to be an ottoman, so I added an ottoman there, but I eventually deleted it because I felt like there was a little bit too much going on. After I added the basic furniture in the living room, then I moved on to the kitchen. I decided to use white counters and cabinets, and then I started adding all of the appliances, and I'm just trying my best to line it up with the floor plan. And I added these little stools where the counter island is, and I added all of my cabinets, and then after that I decided on this blue tile backsplash for the kitchen. And you'll also notice that I added a little column where the transition between the wallpaper and the paint is. This is something I've always done in my Sims builds as well. It just helps with that abrupt transition between wallpapers. Now I'm adding these 2 little shelves with some clutter on it. Then I moved on to the office, so I put these bookshelves on the back wall with a plant in the middle and put this cute little summer calendar on the wall as well. Over here in the mudroom, I'm pretty sure this is like a utility closet, so I added like a AC unit to it and an electrical panel, but I feel like those are supposed to be outside. I don't know. I just couldn't find like a water heater or whatever is supposed to be in there, so I just had to improvise. Now I'm adding the washer and dryer, and I chose this purple color for the walls. This is the guest bathroom. I love this tile so much. I had to resize this bathtub quite a bit, and I'm not sure if it'll be functional. I haven't tested it, but hopefully it is. Then I just continued following the floor plan and adding appliances on top of where they're supposed to be. Right behind this bathroom is the kitchen pantry. I started by adding 4 shelves, but then I started cluttering it, and I realized I did not feel like cluttering up 4 shelves, so I deleted 2 of them and I just kept 2 in there. Now I'm moving on to the primary bedroom and bathroom. Once again, I chose a purple color for the walls, and I'm using that same tile in this bathroom. I'm so jealous of this walk-in shower. I wish I had one like this in real life. I was just going to keep it open, but then I decided to add a wall and an archway, and I feel like it really just completed the whole look and made it look so much better. I added the sinks and the mirror, and I love putting this vanity light above mirrors. It's so perfect. And now we have this walk-in closet. So I started with this big like built-in shelf thing, but then I saw this and I was like, wait, that's perfect. So I chose that, and I added some shoes and some clothes and some clutter to fill it up. For the bedroom, I just added this bed, some nightstands, lamps, and that's pretty much all I put in the bedroom. You'll see that I eventually add a rug in there too, but I kept it pretty simple. I just realized there's no TVs in this house. That's crazy. After I got done with the bedroom, I deleted the floor plan because I was done adding all the furniture, and I changed the flooring to a more sandy light brown. The default one was just way too orange for the interior. I could not decide on a rug for the living room. I changed my mind so many times. I eventually chose a white circular rug, and then I started adding curtains. It never gets old being able to adjust these however you want. Now I'm just adding all the final touches. I decided to make a platform leading down into the kitchen because there is a platform leading up to the house. I'm just adding some more rugs and some wall art. And finally, I added some trees surrounding the house because this lot just felt very empty. I probably should have built on a smaller one, but it's fine. After adding the trees and terrain paint, I am finally done. Y'all, this was so much fun. Like, I'm so excited to do this again with another floor plan. I wanted to start small and simple. I didn't want to download like a mansion floor plan with multiple stories because I'm still learning, and I didn't want to stress myself out too much, and I just really love how it turned out. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I hope you loved it. This house will be on the Steam Workshop. I will leave a link to it in the description. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.